Well, it's great to have you all with me again today. As always, if we were in our normal time, I'd have you gathered around me here and be welcoming you up front. But instead, you're at home. But remember, I got that X-ray vision. I can see you there, so I'm really excited that you're there. Thanks for joining me. This week in our worship, we're using some words of Jesus from the Gospel of Matthew, and I wanted to read those words here. Here's what Jesus says. He says, "Whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward." So I wanted to tell you a story. Pastor Gene and I were married. We were married back in 1999. That was 21 years ago. And we've had a wonderful marriage. I love Pastor Gene. She's so special. But the day we got married in Chicago, and it was 96 degrees that day. It was 96 degrees, and the church had no air conditioning. Well, that's not true. It had one-room air conditioning. That's the one I got to spend my time in getting ready. But when we had the wedding itself in the church, it wasn't air conditioned. It was hot. And you know, when people get married, like brides wear big, long dresses, and the guys wear a tux, which means you've got a suit, and then you've got usually a vest, and then you've got your shirt. It gets really, 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 really hot. So we were having our wedding. It got really, really, really hot. And then two things happened. The first was after the wedding, they were taking pictures, lots of pictures, boom, 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 boom. And my brother, you know what he did? He went downstairs to the kitchen and he got a tray and he put some glasses of ice water and he brought them upstairs to us. And oh my goodness, did that taste good. Oh, wow. I mean, a cold cup of water when we were really, really hot. But you know, it was still hot. And so they kept taking pictures, and we were getting hot again. And then we got ready to go to the reception, you know, where you have the dancing and the party and the wedding cake. So we got into the car with some of Pastor Gene's friends. They were driving us. And Linda turned around and said, "You guys thirsty? You want something?" And oh, yes. You know what she did? She had some cold Mountain Dew. Oh my gosh. So between my brother having water and Linda having some cold Mountain Dew, we were refreshed. Oh, what a wonderful gift that was. And then we got to the reception. There it was air conditioned. And we could keep going, but it's because two people, my brother and Linda, they reached out to us and they helped us. I was thinking about that. You know, it's getting to be kind of the warm weather. I looked at the forecast for this coming week, 80s and close to 90. And, you know, we're going to be outside, maybe in our yard playing or riding our bikes or doing something. We're going to get kind of hot. And we're going to need something, aren't we? And, oh, a cold cup of water or maybe a Mountain Dew. You know, they didn't have Mountain Dew in the Bible, but maybe something like that, you know, might just hit the spot for you. That's a great gift that God gives us, isn't it? That God gives us things like a cold cup of water when we need it to refresh us and renew us. But God gives us something else. What if you're at your house and maybe your brother or your sister is outside? Maybe they're playing outside, or maybe they're pulling weeds in the garden or doing some other work, and it's really, really hot. What do you think would happen? What would happen if you got a cold cup of water and you took it out to them? Or maybe it's not your brother or sister, maybe it's your mom or dad. If we were in normal times and we didn't have to worry about being socially distant, you might give it to a neighbor or somebody else. Isn't that cool? Wouldn't it be great to be able to do God's work and to help your brother or your sister? Now, not when they ask. Don't wait till they ask. Do it when they're not even asking. What a great gift that would be. And you know what's really neat about that? Think about this. if your brother or your sister or your mom or your dad are just really like dying of thirst and you bring a cup of cold water, is that sort of like a gift from God? Don't you think? But now think about this. If that's a gift from God, you are a part of that gift. You get to be a part of what God is doing. I mean, that just blows my mind. I think that is so neat. So I want you to think about that. Maybe it's not just a cold cup of water. Maybe your neighbor's mailbox or a garbage can, rather. Your garbage can is flying down the road. You know, it's windy, really, really windy day. Big thunderstorm comes through, and your neighbor's garbage can is in the middle of the street or rolling down the street, and you go out and get it for them and you bring it back. And it's a little thing. That's not a big thing, but it means a lot. It means a lot. Because that's part of doing God's work in the world. So keep your eyes open this week and look for ways that you can do little things like a cup of cold water or fetching the garbage can or something else that you can do to help your neighbors, that you can do to help your friends, that you can do to help people you don't know, that you can help your family, that you can help God's people. See if you can find a way to do that this week. Even if it's a little thing, it'll be important because you will be a part of God's work in the world. Okay, guys, have a great week. I think Pastor Gina will be back here next week, and she'll be seeing you. But remember, God is always with you. Thanks. Have a great week. Goodbye.